Alright, this is another July 1st nuke. It is July 28th, and I want to see how much this hive has progressed. I did already pull a nuke off of here, and I'm kind of looking at it with the thought of potentially pulling off another nuke, or looking at pulling a frame of brood for another weaker hive. Wow, these guys are doing insanely well. They've already drawn this whole super out in the top. Looks like it's full from what I can tell. I'm going to pull a few frames, but this is fantastic. They had to draw this comb out, build the population up in such a short amount of time. It's just outstanding. This is honey or nectar, or this is nectar or sugar water. I think this is actually probably nectar because I didn't feed them last week. I always don't like drawing these frames down on the end, so I will set that aside and stick it in the middle. I'm just going to take a look through these and see if the queen's laying in any of them. This is just nectar. This is brood. Mostly nectar, but there is brood in here. So that area in the center is the brood. You can tell this is uncapped nectar. Here's brood. And some capped brood, some looks like probably 6-day-old larvae. The queen came up here a little bit, but didn't spend a ton of time here. Doesn't look like, because this looks like another frame of nectar. A little bit of brood. This hive is amazing how well it's doing. There is brood in this one, and there's brood on this side. Not a ton. I would say this one's a quarter full of brood. I don't have a queen excluder on here, so that is why they're laying up in here, or she's laying up in here. There's some pollen in this one. Looks like mainly nectar and pollen there. I'll take this one, stick it back in the middle. Now this is a hive I could probably pull a nuke off and be just fine with it. So I think I may end up doing that. I'll have to get a queen here before I do it. Just going to pull this sugar syrup out and make sure that it's clean. Sometimes they get smelly. The sugar starts fermenting. I'm just going to remove this board. And it looks like there's a lot of bees in there, and that's because I did not put this on right. I should have had rubber bands over it. I'm going to scrape those out, and then I'll wash this out. I think I'm going to take this out and not feed these guys anymore. They're doing just fine. They don't need my help. I'll put a couple of these undrawn frames in here. Either give these guys additional space, or I take another split off of it I'm really tempted to do another split. I would like to have a few more hives going into the winter. Now it looks like they drew out that top super, or the medium super, but I can tell they haven't drawn these frames out here. So that may change my plans just a little bit. They haven't drawn that one out. They haven't drawn this one out. And I think it may have to do with the fact that last time when I added the foundation frames, I put them all down on the end here. Looks like there's pollen here, some nectar. I'll put this frame down on the end. This is a frame of capped brood. Beautiful frame of capped brood. Look at that. Another frame of capped brood. Capped brood and pollen. So I'm at 2 frames of capped brood. There's a little bit in the medium, but not much. I can tell this is another frame of capped brood. I think I'm going to take one of these foundation frames, stick it right here now. That is a perfect spot for it. When all this capped brood hatches out, another frame of capped brood. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful laying pattern. This looks like brood that was just hatching out. I guess I breathed on them a little bit. They got agitated. I don't see eggs in there, which is interesting. They may not have had a chance to clean that out properly for the queen to lay eggs in. Yeah, there are eggs in this one. It's really hard to see when it's fresh foundation or fresh wax that's never been used. It's nice for brood comb to get the darker wax. It makes those eggs a lot easier to see. But I don't see the queen on this side or on this side, so what I'm going to do is stick this one aside for a minute and take a look at these last 2 frames. I think I'm at probably 5 frames of brood. And this is mostly young larvae and honey, some drone comb. That frame over there is mostly, looks like it's foundation. And it looks like it's starting to rain, so I'm going to have to put this camera away. The bees are going to start getting a little agitated, because when it rains, they are generally not too happy. Part of it has to do with the fact that all the foragers rush back to the hive because they don't want to be stuck out in the rain. So then you have all these older bees that are kind of getting agitated. So I think on this one I may end up, I'm going to add another medium. They drew it out so nicely. I will reward them for it with an additional medium super. I think with all the capped brood that this hive has, it will be good for them to have additional space when that capped brood comes hatching out, because it's going to be a lot of bees. If each one of those frames has, say, 6,000 bees, it would look like there were probably 4 frames of capped brood. You're looking at 25,000 bees just like that.